Okay.
Okay.
Lights on?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, today is Wednesday, November the 17th, and we are going to do Writer's Workshop today. Yay?
Yay.
Yay?
Darn.
Oh, you don't like it? Well, I know, Jenna, you've been looking forward to this the whole time, and I know you kind of said you didn't like it too much. Why don't you like it, Jessie?
I don't know, because I don't know what to write about.
Well, first, before we start, I've got some papers ready for you to go. I've got crayons and markers, but I'm going to give you a little mini lesson, okay? Some things just to remember as you're writing. I'm not going to tell you what to write about because that's the beauty of Writer's Workshop is because you get to pick the topic. Yes, Jenna?
I kind of changed my plans what I'm going to write about.
Oh, you did because I know you wanted to write about your grandma, but you can write whatever you want. And after I read my story I wrote for you, you might even change your plans again. Okay? But the first thing I want to talk to you about some things I want you to remember. Okay, as you're writing, the first thing I want you to remember, and maybe I'll hold this up so that I don't know if the camera can see this. Can you see all right?
Yeah.
Is every sentence, the first word in the sentence is going to start with a capital letter. Do you know that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's one thing I want to be checking. Now, do you think I expect you to spell every word correctly?
Yes.
No, I don't. You're only in second grade and I can't even spell every word correctly.
I can't.
You silly. I just want you to spell the best you can and try to sound it out because you know some rules already, right?
Yes.
You know what letters sound like. What rules do you know, Jenna?
I know to sound it out if you're stuck on a word, and if it doesn't sound right when you write it, you should ask how you can write it if you don't get it that good.
Okay, well just try to do the best you can, okay? Just sound it out. And you know the rule, if two vowels go walking, the first one,
does the talking.
Very good. And you know if there's an E at the end of the word and a vowel in the middle, what sound does the vowel make?
I.
A long or short sound?
I. Like if it's
It sounds
A
like...
is A.
Yeah, it sounds like a vowel. You guys know the vowels, right? A,
Yeah.
E, I, O, U. And the long...
And sometimes Y.
And sometimes Y. And the long sound, just the vowel says its name. So the long sound for A is what?
A.
A. The long sound for I is
I.
For E is E. And U is U. So it just sounds like its name. So if there is an E at the end, the E is silent and the vowel is long in the word. The other thing I want you to remember is, number 2 here, is that each sentence ends with a punctuation mark. Tell me what the 3 punctuation marks are.
Period, question mark, and exclamation.
Exclamation mark. Now, tell me when you use a period. It is what type of sentence, Jessie?
After each thought.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to think, but is it, what type of sentence is it? Jenna, do you know?
A 7 to 8 word sentence.
Oh, is that what your teacher tells you to write 7 to 8 words? Okay. But what kind of sentence gets a period? Does she tell you this? It's a, go ahead.
It's not a statement, and it's not a question sentence.
It's not an excitement because excitement gets the exclamation point and it's not a question. I always tell students it's a telling sentence or a statement, okay? So after a telling sentence, you get a period, a question mark, and anytime you want to show excitement, you get an exclamation point. The last thing I want to remind you is that we already talked about spelling words like they sound, and then the last couple things here has to do about your story. Now, I want to talk about good stories. What do you know about good stories?
Like in the middle and then.
Okay, did you hear that? Every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you want to write your story that you'd want to come back and read it again, right? And then another thing that you should remember is every good story has what? Or you have something else you want to say?
Yes.
When did you lose your tooth? Did you just lose that?
A few days ago.
A few days ago. Oh, that's what I love about second grade is that, now, have you lost your 2 front teeth yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are new. Okay.
You forgot a word on number 2.
I did, because I wrote this fast. End each sentence with a punctuation mark. What word did I forget?
Each.
And there's each right there. But anyway, every good story has a problem. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And every good story then has a solution. Okay? Can you remember that? Every good story has a problem. Do you know what a problem is? That there's something not quite right. Go ahead.
Like something like if you don't spell it right.
Yeah, that's a problem. Sit up here so the camera can see you. A problem is like, maybe right now my problem is I'm hungry. And what would be the solution to that problem? Go ahead.
Eat.
I'd eat the snack that I have for us later. Okay, so let me read my story to you. And I want you to be listening. I want good listeners. And I want you to scoot over here so it can be on the camera. And I want you to decide what the problem is in the story and what the solution is. And notice I wrote this and I dedicated it to Jenna and Jesse. And the name of my story is Miss Madolyn's Farm. Okay? And I just wrote that today. And this is a sample for you. Miss Madolyn lived on a small farm. It was only 5 acres. She had raised 4 children, but now they were all grown up. There were no children to play with all the farm animals. They were all lonely. Then one day, 2 twins, Jesse and Jenna, came from next door to play on the swing set. Miss Madolyn gave them some apples to feed the horses and goat. Tinkerbell, otherwise known as Stinkerbell the goat, wanted all the apples. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Jesse made sure the horses got some apples too. What kind of point was that?
Excellent.
The animals were happy. Jenna brushed the horses and they both went into the hen house to gather eggs. The animals hoped they'd come back. So what was the problem in my story? Jenna?
I forget what it was like.
Do you know what the problem was, Jesse?
The horses were lonely.
The horses were, all the animals were lonely because there were no children to play with them anymore. And does that make sense to you? And what was the solution then? Go ahead.
That we came over?
Yeah, Jesse and Jenna, the twins, came over and played. So start thinking about your story. Think about the problems. Think that there's a beginning, middle, and end. In my story, what was the beginning? Jenna?
That you had kids and they had grown up.
So I lived on a farm and had kids and they were all grown up. What was the middle then? Go ahead.
That the animals got lonely.
They were lonely, okay? And then what was the end of the story?
That we came over and brushed the horses and feeded them.
Okay. Any questions about what we're going to do? Okay, remember, I can't help you spell the words. You try to sound them out. Try to be thinking of a good solution, a problem and solution, and think about the events of the story. Miss Madolyn had a farm. She raised 4 children. The animals were lonely. Jenna and Jesse came over. I'll get it right. And they fed the horses apples. And Tinkerbell wanted all the apples, but Jesse made sure the horses got some apples, and the children went into the hen house, and the animals were all happy, and the ending was they hope Jenna and Jesse comes back to visit them. Did you like the story? Okay, well I'm going to turn this off, and then we're going to get busy. Okay?